Hey Zwifters, welcome back to No Breakaways, your source for all the Zwift racing tips and tricks. This week, we're going to review round number 6 of the Zwift Racing League, the TTT on the Greatest London Flat. I hope everybody had fun, survived in New York in round 5. I'm really excited to kind of get past that week and get on to another TTT. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get straight into the video. All right, everybody, here's the course for this week. Greatest London Flat, 31 kilometers long, 209 meters of elevation gain. Not a lot of course features to talk about this week. There are some ups and downs. Really, the main thing is going to be the elevator that we're going to go over. A lot of the hills are pretty long and sloping and don't present a huge challenge like a 10% gradient would on the last TTT we did on the reverse KOM. So this should be a pretty straightforward course, very fast course. And as we'll see, it's going to be a course that might favor some heavier riders as opposed to high watt per kilogram people. This is the start of the course. You'll be coming out of the pens, which are on the right-hand side, and coming out that little avenue right in front of us. As you can see from the kilometer marker up top, I did this as a meetup, and the meetup doesn't start at the start-finish of the course where you will be starting on Tuesday. So if you do the meetup, you actually start a lot closer to the finish line, which we'll show you. But just wanted to let you know. So right after you start, it's a little tiny bit rolling, and the whole course has more rolling hills than you probably remember, but they really don't cause much of an issue. Here it kicks up to about 4%. A little bit down the road, it'll kick up to 5%. It's going to be important to just make sure you're paying attention, you're staying in your line, and you're communicating really well over this course. So right here, about 3.5 kilometers in, you're going to take this right, go up a little hill. This will be a test of keeping your team together, making sure that you're really paying attention, really communicating well. This may be a good point to blob it up and not worry about trying to do your pace line up a hill because it is a pretty long hill in terms of if you're trying to do 30-second switches. So here we are coming through the sprint manner for the first time. You're going to end up going through this 2 times, and on the second time, that's where you finish. So once you come out into the London countryside, you're really going to have to work hard to keep your team together. This is where it gets pretty rolly. You're going to see some 7% grades coming up here. There are a couple of hills with 7% grades. Just make sure, again, that you're communicating. This might be a really nice place to blob it up and not have to worry about some of those dynamics of sink and sprints that can be really difficult when you're going up a hill. So here is a very tricky feature in the course, one that always gets me personally in scratch races. But on your TTT, you're going to have to blob it up this elevator. Make sure you don't drop anyone. This is something where you want to get some momentum going into it. So it may be good to kick into it, float up as much as you can, and make sure you regroup on the top here in the train station. So you're going to come right back around the start again. That finishes your first lap, and now you have to go back to the sprint banner. So just to be super clear, this is not the finish right here. After you pass that start, you have to go all the way back around to that sprint banner. All right, back to the sprint banner the second time. This is going to be your finish. Long straight shot into this, so you'll be able to work up a lot of good speed. It should be a really fun week. I will post this full ride video starting from the start pens all the way around the course 1.5 times if you want to watch it. So what I did to get these times is I went back to the WTRL series from early September and took a look at the Premier League times to try to get a good idea of where I thought these times would end up. For the Cat A men, I'm thinking between 39:30 and 40:30, looking at those times from back in the WTRL series. Interestingly, it looks like there were some teams with really, really fast times that didn't have as high watts per kilogram, indicating that this course may be a little bit more about pure watts and not quite the watts per kilogram game that we've seen in some of the other TTTs. The Cat A women's was a lot harder to predict this week. There was one team from the Premier League that went about 41:30 or so, but they were made entirely of professional women with right around 4.5, 4.8 watts per kg. So I took the second place team, which was an exceptional team. They averaged about 4.1, and they were right around 43 minutes. Honestly, with the way the women have been smashing this series apart, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 41:30 or 42 minutes. But my best guess, to be really competitive, you got to be around that 43 or under. For the Cat B men, you see the watts per kilogram is a little bit lower than the women, but I'm projecting a significantly faster time. Again, this leads me to the idea that this is a watts game and less a watts per kilogram game on this London course. For the Cat C riders, you're looking 44:30 to 46 minutes at 3.4 watts per kilogram. And Cat D is going to be 49 to 51 at right around 2.5 watts per kilogram. Let's kick it over to Eric now to take a look at what the bike choices are for this week.
Hey Zwifters, this is Eric with Zwift Insider with tips on bike choice for the Greatest London Flat route. This is a very flat route, as the name says, so it's going to be all about the most aero bike you can get. The best bike in game for this route is going to be the S-Works Venge with the Zip 858 Super 9 disc wheel set. This is the most aero setup there is, so if you can get access to that, that's the way to go. The Tron bike is also really fast. It'll just be a second or two behind the S-Works Venge setup. And if you're more beginner level, like level 10, 11, 13, I would go with the Canyon Aero 2021. Get those Zip 808 wheels that you can get at level 13, which are super fast. And you'll be just a couple seconds off the very fastest setup available in game to all Zwifters. All right, that's it. That's your tip. Good luck, everybody. I'll see you out there. Right on.
All right, Zwifters, that's the course wrap up for round number 6 of the Zwift Racing League. The TTT on the Greatest London Flat should be a really fun week, really fast week. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe below, and let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see. See you next week.